What's going on, y'all? I'm Brandon Atlanta Man Bang coming to you live right here at Coach's Corner, the center of the universe, Thunderbolt, Georgia. Another episode of Rubbin' is Grubbin'. Rubbin' is racing, grubbin' is tasting, y'all. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, man, got a really good show here for you this Wednesday night. A lot to talk about after that first playoff race there at Darlington. A lot of news coming out this week on a few different things we're going to touch base with. But you know how we start the show, y'all. We're going to go ahead and get that word of the day going. Last week's word of the day was Lady in Black. So I don't know how many times I said it. Probably not as many as I have said other words in the past. But that's what we were at last week. So if it's the first time tuning in, first time ever playing along, basically Lawrence is going to drop a word somewhere up here, down below, somewhere on the screen you're going to see a word. Every time I say that word during tonight's show, take a sip of your favorite adult beverage, whether it's beer, whether it's a shot, whether it's a mixed drink. Like I always say, kid-friendly as well. Go get some Kool-Aid, sweet tea, Monster Energy, whatever you want to go get jacked up on this Wednesday school night, man. So there again, today's word is going to be something. I don't know. We'll see how many times I say it. Might be a good buzz, might be a small buzz. We're going to find out, man. Moving right along into NASCAR news. Got a lot to talk about with it, man. Denny Hamlin holds off Kyle Larson to not only lock up that first win of the season, go ahead and lock his position into the round of 12 here coming up in a couple races. So we talked about it pretty much almost all season. Denny Hamlin has been consistent. Didn't win that regular season championship, but here we are, first playoff race, and the man comes home with a win. So big kudos to him finally getting that knocked out, and we'll see. Coming into Richmond, man, I tell you, a good racetrack for him. Might go back-to-back. We'll just have to wait and see. But NASCAR headed to the LA Coliseum, man. This is probably some of the biggest news that I saw come out this week. Not finalized yet. NASCAR officially hasn't come out and announced it, but it has been reported that NASCAR plans on opening up the 2022 season in the LA Coliseum on a quarter-mile dirt track. Now, it's going to resemble Bowman Gray out of North Carolina, that short track that's up there. It's going to be the smallest track that NASCAR has ever officially raced on at a quarter mile, kind of the kickoff for that next-gen car. Now, it has been undecided if they're going to race that next-gen car for that race or use this generation car and debut that in Daytona. We'll have to wait and see what news comes out, but would love to hear your guys' comments, man. Absolutely insane to me what we got going on in the sport. I mean, I love it putting eyes on it, different eyes that you normally wouldn't, and taking venues and doing these things. And I really am glad that NASCAR went ahead and did it with a non-points paying race for that Busch Clash. Now, if I can just get them off the dirt on Bristol and let's do something else somewhere else, that'd be great. But we'll see how that goes, man. But with this racetrack right here, that's going to make two short tracks in that LA metro area once California Speedway is converted into a short track as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see what goes on. But hey, man, big news coming out. So Chase Elliott down to do some open wheel testing. Man, I tell you, a lot of folks are looking at him because of the road course niche that he has to be able to drive these cars. I tell you what, I don't ever think he'll go anywhere outside of NASCAR as a career. But hey, man, there's been a lot of guys, whether that came from open wheel to NASCAR or NASCAR to open wheel and race both. Would love to see what this man would be able to do in an open wheel car on some of these road courses, man. I think he might have a little knack for that, but we'll see. We'll see what the future holds, man. So there again, thank you guys for tuning in, man. Please go out, like, share, follow us on all our social media, the Gram, Facebook, Twitter. You can catch us on YouTube, Rubbin' and Grubbin', no G, always country around here, man. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Man, Lawrence does such a great job putting that show up on the weekends, adds a lot more into it than what we do here on the live version at Coaches, man. But I tell you what, if you hadn't checked it out yet, go check it out. And like I said, like, share, follow. The more people I get, helps us raise more money for these good charitable causes that we do up here at Coaches, man. So thank you guys for that. So moving right along into those playoff pictures, we don't have a regular season anymore, and we only got really 16 guys to talk about. So that first race was pretty hectic. We're going to get into that a little bit later on, but right now the rundown looks like this. Denny Hamlin takes over that first spot. There again, locked that win down here at Darlington to put himself into the round of 12, first win of the season, so takes over that leading spot from Kyle Larson. Larson drops down to 2. I tell you, to me, still my championship favorite on the year. He has absolutely went out and dominated everything that he's been in so far. Not to say anything's going to be any different going forward, so there you go. 3, Martin Truex Jr. There again, really good run going at Darlington. Kind of had some issues, fell back, kind of got caught up in some weird stuff going on there. Came back to have a good finish 4th, so good run for him. 4th place is going to be Kurt Busch. 5th is Ryan Blaney. 6th, Joey Logano. You got 7 is Kevin Harvick. 8 going to be Brad Keselowski. 9 is Christopher Bell in the 20. My man Chase Elliott in 10th. Hurt my feelings a little bit there, getting caught up late in that stuff. Kind of something wasn't his fault, is what it is, but hopefully comes back strong this week. 11 will be the 10 car. You got 12 is going to be Tyler Reddick. 13, the 48. 14, the 18, 15, the 24, and last but not least, Michael McDowell in the 34, man, rounding it out. So, as I said, we're going to get into it in a little bit, man. Darlington had quite some issues going on. A lot of these guys, playoff drivers, had struggles, whether it was pit road penalties, speeding penalties, tire issues, brake issues, loose lug nuts, loose tires, all kinds of different things plagued a lot of the playoff drivers. So we'll get into some more details on that as we get into the show. Moving right along, my favorite part of the show right here, man, the checkered flag for charity. So if you guys are just tuning in, what we do basically is every time a winning car number for that week wins, we take that money, we donate it into our charity of choice for the year. This year it's going to be Help Save One of Our Own. So local-based community right here, they've helped with a lot of fundraisers we do up here at Coach's Corner, Randy Palooza, Becca Bash, numerous things. So this year we decided to help one of our own, right? So as I always tell you guys, none of this is possible without y'all out there. So as I say, nickels, pennies, dimes, 10, 20s, 150s, doesn't matter what you got, man. Make a donation. All goes to a great cause. If you're in Coach's grabbing something to eat, grabbing some drinks after work, round that tab up to the nearest dollar, tell them you want to donate it to help save one of your own. Make a donation while you're here. Check with your server, bartenders. Hey, if you even see John or Adele walking around, man, stop them. They'll make sure that money gets to the right person and goes to the right place, man. So there again, the 11 car, Denny Hamlin wins, but we all know that's never good enough. So we'll get it on here. Haven't quite said a swear word yet, but it is a swear bucket too. So as y'all know, if you have watched, 11 is never good enough. Anything under 20, we're going to go ahead and throw that 20 in. And that's going to bring our yearly total to $3,516 raised right here on Rubbin' and Grubbin' alone. So not too bad for a little Wednesday night NASCAR show. And man, like I said, none of that is possible without the patrons and the support of the local community from y'all. So man, thank you guys so much for that. Let's keep getting this money up to help save one of our own, man. Thank you guys. So moving along into the second favorite part of the show, the who's hot and who's not. Man, do I got a good one for the who's not tonight. We're going to rip somebody a new one up here on Rubbin' and Grubbin' tonight, man. I've had just about enough of it as a fan. So hey, who's hot? We'll start there, man. Denny Hamlin finally gets that win, takes over the playoff lead. Now we're coming into two tracks where he does really good, man. He's won at Bristol. He's won at Richmond. Man, native of Virginia. You know, I tell you, in the spring, had a really good car there. Didn't quite come out with that win, come home with that win, but we'll see what happens this time. Let's see where he lands on that top 5. But I tell you what, man, at the end of the day, I think he's heating up at the right time. Definitely going to probably go out and get a couple more wins through these playoffs. There's quite a few tracks there that 11 run's really good at. So we'll see maybe if they were just kind of taking it in stride, or if now it's time to turn up the heat and go get these wins, man, and win a championship. So that's one thing Denny Hamlin hasn't done, is get that championship. This year could be the year, man. We'll just see it. He's got to get there first. He's got to make it, and he's got to go get the job done, man. So we'll see what happens. But you can believe, better believe the 11 is going to contend again, man. So Kyle Larson's still killing it. Man, I tell you what, had the lead there for a while in that Darlington race, came back up through there, never really could quite get to Hamlin. He tried to make a crazy hell of a move right there at the end. They're referring to it as a video game move. Anybody out there that plays NASCAR knows you can kind of wall ride and gain some speed at certain tracks. So that's kind of what he went for, man. And I tell you, I believe that if Larson could have got to that rear corner panel and got to the inside of them, we'd be talking about that 5 car in victory lane again, because I don't think there would have been any love lost to take that win from Denny Hamlin. Whether it was wreckers or checkers, but it was going to happen, man. So there again, like I said, been hot all season long, dominating absolutely everything that he gets into. We're coming up on Richmond, where I tell you what, didn't have a very good strong showing in the spring. I think he finished outside or right inside the top 15, maybe even further than that. But I tell you, it's something you don't expect out of the 5. We'll see if they kind of got that car figured out and got this set up here. We all know it's a Saturday night race this time. We'll definitely see if they got it together and bring in a good piece of equipment to go out and get the win. So, hey, man, What else is hot is the NASCAR rumor mill, man. There is so much stuff going around, not only on top of, like I said, the LA Coliseum. They're talking manufacturers coming back into the sport in the next couple years. They're talking different scheduling. They're talking all kinds of different things that are swirling around out there, man. So I give NASCAR kudos on that, creating a real good buzz around the sport right now with a lot of information that's coming out. We'll definitely have to see what this 2022 schedule looks like. Usually by this time, they've already almost come out with it, if not come out with it already. So I expect it to come out here at least in the next couple weeks, I would hope. But we'll have to wait and see. As you guys know, Atlanta, man, got to go to Atlanta. I want to see where these races fall on those dates. And that way I can be there with the flag on, man, ready to fly. So that's going to wrap it up for the Who's Hot. Now, I got two things on the Who's Not. And I got one of them that we're getting ready to get into. Because I'm going to go ahead, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop $10 in the swear bucket because I'm getting ready to probably say some words coming up right here about no other person than Kyle Busch, man. I've absolutely had my share of all his shit that he says, the shit that he does, the way he acts, the crybaby bullshit that he does on the track, off the track. Man, just about the time I thought he was actually growing up and becoming mature, man, he does this. So if anybody didn't watch that Darlington race, he had some trouble, he had some issues. They interview him when he comes out of the infield care center, blames every single other person other than himself, says the car was a piece of shit, says they brought him a piece of shit, they ran like shit, they're going to finish like shit. So at the end of the day, man, I have no respect for anybody. Not only that, one, your sponsor is M&M's and Mars, man. Do you know how many kids' eyes are watching you week in and week out and look up to you as a race car driver and as a personality, and you still at 35, 36 years old hadn't figured out how to just shut the up and just say, hey, man, I didn't have it today. We'll come back and get them next week. Thanks, Mars. Thanks, M&M. See y'all next week. I mean, or if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all, man. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? But not only that, what are you teaching these young fans that are your fans? And on top of that, you have a son that races cars. What are you teaching your own kid? So when you don't win or when you don't have the best equipment out there and it's trouble and you struggle, it's okay to blame everybody else. It's okay to blame your team. Like, what do you think that does for your team morale? Do you think now these guys are going to go back to the shop and build you a better race car because you just dogged every single one of them that who knows how many man hours went into it? Okay, it wasn't a good car, man. That's all you had to say, right? First year crew chief and Ben Bashore went out and got you 2 wins already to put you in the playoff, given good equipment. Now, your talent got you there. I will never argue the talent that Kyle Busch has, ever. You'll never hear me say he's not talented. What you will hear me say is he's a crybaby bitch, is what he is. And I'm going to throw another dollar in there just because. I'm telling you, man, I'm so over it. The personality is horrible. It's not a good look for the sport. It's not a good look for him, and it's definitely not a good look for Mars. If anybody knows Kyle Busch's history, Rick Hendrick's the one that signed him. Kellogg's. Anybody remember the 5 car? Terry Labonte, Mark Martin, all these guys, Kellogg's, right? Kyle Busch goes out and wins races for Rick Hendrick. Does the same type behavior, 16, 17, 18 years old, almost 20 years ago, same type behavior. And Rick Hendrick is the type of guy, one, you got a sponsorship in Kellogg's, man. They're, again, a child-friendly sponsor. If your sponsor is a beer company, if your sponsor is Monster Energy, if your sponsor is something adult, hey, man, and you want to cuss and you want to do that, go for it, man. You're representing youth in the sport, and you're showing our youth that it's okay to be a piss-poor, sore loser, man, because that's exactly what you were on Saturday night. Nobody wrecked that car other than you. Whether it was undrivable or not, the best driver, the most talented driver, the greatest thing ever, Kyle Busch, couldn't drive the damn race car and wreck the race car. So let's just get that straight. It wasn't the team's fault. It wasn't anybody's fault other than you behind the wheel, man. Get your stuff together, bro. So over it. Then not only that, you get mad. You pull into pit road into the garage area. There's people walking there. You fly in there. God forbid you have guys carrying tires with headsets on, listening to team communication. You've got special guests on those pit boxes, family, grandchildren. You've got all kinds of people walking in and out of that garage area all the time. NASCAR officials, everybody. And you pull in there like you own it, like you're not worried about a soul, right? That's BS. That's strike number 2. And $50,000 ain't good enough for me, man. $50,000 to this man is chump change. So to me, that's BS move by NASCAR. They should have hit him a lot harder. They already let him get away with one earlier in the season when he wanted to bump the pace car when they started the race, and they shouldn't have, but it was wet, and him and Truex both wrecked. Shows the frustration by bumping the pace car. Here's the whole thing. 55 miles an hour in a NASCAR, in a Cup Series car, Xfinity car, a truck, roll cages, that's nothing. But 55 miles an hour in a Toyota Camry, that's a pace car. If he was to turn that car into the wall, and let's say that guy looked down, whoever was driving, whatever official, whatever retired driver, whoever it was driving it, was to look down for a split second or anything, and you touch that car like that and it turned into that wall at 55 miles an hour, and you know you're close enough behind it, you're just going to push right through it. That's strike number one. You didn't even get a pat on the, you didn't get a little pop on the wrist or anything for that. Then to come out and now just $50,000, come on, man. NASCAR's got to get it together. I'm not even going to waste my time. I'm not even going to waste my damn time talking about Kyle Busch no more, man. To hell with Kyle Busch. And if Sean Erb got something to say about that too, I'm going to tell him the same damn thing. Get out of here with that, man. All right. Next on the who's not list, and it's going to be playoff drivers, man. There was 9 playoff drivers that finished outside of the top 15 at Darlington. 9. Man, it puts some guys in some bad positions. You got 3 pretty good names that you would never expect to be below that cut this early after race 1. The good thing is they do have 2 more races to come back and bounce back. You've heard me say it before. I'm not really betting on it, but I was kind of hoping maybe a premonition I announced way earlier in the year would come true about a Final 4 with all Hendrick drivers. But right now we got some issues, man. So the 4 that are outside of that 12 right now are it's going to be Michael McDowell, finished last in that race. He's 16th in points. You got Kyle Busch wrecked out. You got William Byron and Alex Bowman, man. So you got 3 really good race cars, really good race teams, man. They're going to be hungry at Richmond and at Bristol to come back and get it done. Now, Bowman went out and got that win there at Richmond. One of the 3 he got this season was at Richmond. Had a rocket shit in the last 30, 40 laps, however many laps it was. Came back and absolutely smoked Denny Hamlin. So we'll see if they bring similar equipment. See if that race plays out the same way. See if he can go and get a win. Then we go back to the last great Coliseum, man, in Bristol, that Bristol night race, man. And I tell you what, I love this run, this beginning part of the playoffs. You got a Labor Day night race at Darlington, the 500, which was the longest race of the year. Even though we had the Coke 600, Darlington ran longer. You've got a Saturday night race at Richmond. You got a Saturday night race at Bristol, which is a cutoff for the spot from 16 to 12. That race is going to be insane. I'm ready to get Richmond over with and start talking about Bristol coming up because that race is going to be the race to watch, man. But yeah, guys got some work to do, man. They got a lot of things to do, and we'll see if they can get it together and get it done, man. But if they don't, if they have one more bad run, there's going to be some guys already chalked up out of that playoff run that we expected to be in. So we just have to see what they can do, man. But I tell you what, man. Big shout out to my main man, Parker Eccles. That's the main sponsor over here at Arbor Man Tree Service. Thank you, brother, for everything you do. I say it all the time, man. Actually got a little storm blowing through this evening, this afternoon, and tonight. So I say it all the time. No job too big, too small. Give Parker a call. Man, if you need anything done tree-wise, you need an estimate done for, you know, some limbs being trimmed back, removed, tree being removed, stump grinding. Just an estimate to say, hey, man, I don't really know if I need to remove any of this or do this right now. Parker would be more than happy to come out and give you a price, give you a quote on it, man, and definitely get the job done and done right, man. So like I said, that number's always scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Make sure if you need any kind of tree service done, man, you give Parker Eccles a call over there at Arbor Man Tree Service. Love you, brother. Right along into the Darlington recap, man. So what a wild little race we had, the Southern 500, man, opening up the playoff. It was pretty insane, man. Racing was pretty good. A lot of different things happened to a lot of different guys, man. A lot of issues with tires. We saw a lot of pit road issues. We saw a lot of speeding issues. We saw guys making contact, blowing tires. Man, we saw 3 wide, 4 wide. We saw all kinds of stuff at Darlington, man. So, hey, big kudos to NASCAR right there for marking that down as that opening race to the playoffs, because I think it is absolutely phenomenal, taking one of NASCAR's crown jewels, man, and making it that important of a race to start those playoffs off. So, big kudos to NASCAR on that, man. Denny Hamlin, there again, bringing home that first win of the season, locks himself into the round of 12. These next 2 weeks, the man can go out and just run what he brung, man. Go out there and go for the checkers, and that's it. Doesn't have to worry about anything. Go out there and try to get some more wins on that resume for the season, man. More wins in the career. So with that win there at Darlington, that marks down Denny Hamlin's 4th Southern 500, which puts him in a very elite class, man. I think there's 3 or 4 guys right there around him, some really big names. But I tell you what, he's still got a little bit of work to do before he catches the man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT himself, Mr. Jeff Gordon, because Gordon's got 7 of them bad boys in his resume, man. So he's got to get 3 more before he ties the Wonder Boy. But I tell you what, I don't know if it'll ever happen. I hope it never happens. I hope that's something Gordon can hold on to, winning his most Southern 500. But we'll have to see, man. We got a long way and a lot of young guys, so we'll see what this talent does in the sport, see if they can go out and get 7. But right now, Denny's got 4, man. So there again, as I said earlier, a lot of playoff drivers have trouble, man. 9 outside the top 15. A lot of those guys, you know, like I said, man, a lot of those guys got to come in these next 2 weeks, and if not go out and get a win, they got to have really, really good run, top 10, top 7 runs to go out and get themselves back in position, and they're going to need a couple guys to have some bad runs. So I think it's possible. I think there's some guys up in the playoffs that might have a bad run and fall back below. It's just if these guys can capitalize and have a good run at the right time to regain those points they lost here coming out of Darlington, but we'll see. There again, I'll say it one more time, Kyle Busch wrecks himself and blames everyone else. Enough said. Oh, man. I tell you what, Kyle Larson, there again, goes for the wall ride, man, and tries to get that move on Denny Hamlin. Comes up a little short, finishes second. Man, like I said earlier, this guy's going to be tough. These next 2 racetracks coming up, especially Bristol, we've seen him run second there how many times, seen him win there before. I tell you what, he's going to bring it. He's going to bring it, and I really think it's on asphalt this time. We're not on dirt, and I thought he was going to do it on dirt. Didn't work out that way. Got caught up early in some stuff, but I tell you what, man, coming to this Bristol Saturday night race, be on the lookout for that 5 car. He's going to be ready to run it, buddy. So, and I definitely want to make sure I give this guy a shout out because I feel like the last couple weeks, this man has just absolutely had some really amazing runs, man, and that's Corey LaJoie, man. What a great dude. I mean, a cool dude. You know, we all know his father, Randy, and this and that, and he does stacking pennies on there. Great little show. But you can tell this guy has so much talent, and finally that race team is letting some of that equipment go. I mean, you're not going to be able to use it next year, so you might as well go out there and run it, and if you wreck it, you wreck it, but at least bring it, right? So, man, I tell you what, having that good run and then turn right around here this week, running inside the top 10, top 7 for the longest, and not off track position. He raced his way up there into those spots. Got caught up right there late in that last caution. Kind of got pinned up weird. I still am not fully understanding exactly what went down and how we all, got lined out in that last caution and how 6th place restarted like 14th on track type thing. I'll go back and look and get it figured out. Hadn't had a chance. But, yeah, man, I tell you what a good run for him. I mean, goes in there, finishes 15th. I feel like he probably should have had a top 10, top 12. But, man, what good moral kudos that is for not only a young, talented driver that's got eyes on him, that needs some sponsors, maybe even move up into a better ride, man. I mean, the guy's got the talent. You can see that. He can go out there and race with some of these big boys. I think it's just getting the good equipment, you know, and that's the downfall of NASCAR in the sport. It's kind of like being the best college quarterback and then coming into the NFL, and instead of getting drafted to go play for Tampa Bay and having all the weapons that Tom Brady had, you get drafted and you go play for Detroit. It's kind of like one of those type deals, man. You know what I mean? Like, you could be the best quarterback ever known to man and have the worst team around you or worst equipment, and you're never going to do nothing, right? So, same type thing, man. You could be the best race car driver, driving the worst equipment, and you're never going to go out and get that win, man. It's just the way the sport is. It's money. It's money, man. That's what it is. So, hey, if you're out there watching, need a driver, fill in. Corey LaJoie is your man. I'm telling you, guys got good talent, good run for him. There again, got to throw this guy in there, the watermelon man, Ross Chastain, did the watermelon crawl all the way up to 3rd, brother. Made it up to 3rd, and halfway through the race, me and my wife were talking. I'm like, I bet you right now $5 says he don't finish inside the top 10. And I'll be damned, the man got me wrong, man. He finished 3rd, and I tell you, that at a lot of that race right there, through a good part of that race, probably had one of the fastest cars on track, man. That dude was absolutely flying through there for a while. So, Big shout out to Ross Chastain as well, man. Good run for him. So there again, that's going to wrap up that Darlington recap, man. Moving right along into Richmond. There again, Saturday night under the lights, short track racing at its finest, man. I tell you what, this is one that we all look forward to seeing every year. First Richmond race was pretty good earlier there in April in the spring. This one's not going to be any different, especially with a little bit more on the line. I tell you what, man, these guys are going to go out and give everything that they can, especially these guys below that number 12. I mean, the 18 of Kyle Busch, you know he's going to go out and run hard. Byron and Bowman going to run hard, and McDowell pretty much knows he's going to have to go out and get some really good finishes or sneak a win in here to make it in. We'll have to see what he does depending on what everybody else does, but it's going to be a long road for those guys ahead, man. So we'll have to see what they do. Like I said, we got to pick it up, man. They only got 2 races left before we go from 16 to 12, so there's no room for error, man. They got to make it happen. So there again, Kyle Busch going to win the, he's going to go out and win the Busch Pole Award starting here. Denny Hamlin starts 2nd, so that's going to make up your front row. Alex Bowman starting a little bit in the back, man. We'll see if Alex the Showman Bowman can run back up through there and maybe sweep Richmond wins this year. We'll see if he can go get that done in that 48, man. Also, Saturday will mark the return of Dale Jr. himself, man. Mr. Dale Jr. coming back to race Xfinity. The one race a year he said he's going to race. And they said it right there at Darlington in that second stage. He said, you know, I'm going to run one a year. This is the one I chose to run. He goes, I want to put myself back in the car so I can get the feel for racing, the sights, the smells, kind of get it out of my system for the year, the one and done. Hey, man, I absolutely love it. I think Dale Jr., you know, there again, great talent. Most popular driver in the sport, 15 years in a row or something like that. I mean, come on, man. Who doesn't like to see him out on the racetrack? So, and not knowing, hadn't been in the car, I don't know, you know, consistently. So, hey, man, who knows? This guy might go out and get a win, man. How crazy would that be if Dale Jr. just enters a playoff race and goes out and gets a win and stops somebody else from winning, man? That'd be nuts, man. Especially if it's own driver. I feel like he'd hit the brakes real hard and let them go ahead, man. I don't know, but it's going to be neat to see, man. And big kudos to Dale Jr. for wanting to do that. I think that's cool, not only for fans, but I think it's great for himself to do that for himself as a race car driver. Because I can only imagine how bad he itches to want to go out and go racing again. So, hey, we're going to bust down this top 5 real quick. There's going to be somebody on this top 5 that is usually always on this top 5 that's not on there this week, and it really hurts my heart. I shed tears while I was writing this here, you know, writing these down, man. So one for me, got to go Denny Hamlin, man. I mean, he came out and won Darlington, a racetrack he's really good at. Led a lot of laps earlier in the spring at Richmond. Another racetrack he's really good at, starting on that front row. I look for him to go out and have another dominating race, man, back to back. I think he's finally got the, you know, got the win out of the way. I think it's time for him to go out and hunt and get some more wins. So that's why I put him 1 on the list. 2 for me, going to be the 19 of Martin Truex Jr., man. You know, there again, guy that's known to run really good at Richmond, has some good runs. I think he's kind of getting it together. Probably might have won that Darlington, that Southern 500 there at Darlington had he not got caught up in the speeding on pit road and having to restart to come back to finish 4th. Had he started up there with the rest of them, man, I tell you what, we might be talking about that 19 and not the 11. So big moves for Truex there. He's 2nd on the list. 3rd for me, Joey Logano. This is another guy, very quiet, runs really good at Richmond as well. I tell you what, had a really good solid run there at Darlington. Nothing that was too crazy. Didn't come up and lead a lot of laps or anything like that. He kind of felt like they had a better car than where he finished. But there again, quietly consistent. Got to put the guy in there. 4 for me, going to be Kyle Larson. We all know he's going to make the list. I mean, there again, Richmond finished 15th or worse in the spring. Didn't really have a really good run there. Probably one of the worst runs he had all season without a DNF or a mechanical failure, or a tire failure. Something crazy happening, just all out bad around, race car, not hitting the setup. This was probably the race we referred to as Richmond in the spring. But I figure by now, as good as he is and as good as these guys are wanting to go get him a championship, they've got that lined out, figured out. They're going to bring grade A equipment. Look for him to have a really strong run. 5 for me. He was on this list, and it's Kyle Busch, you know, because you know what usually happens is when he pisses himself off like he really just did because there's nobody else to blame other than yourself, at the end of the day, man, he usually comes back and runs strong. So this isn't about fan favorites here. This isn't about favoritism at all. It's about race car drivers. Hopefully maybe they bring you a better piece of equipment this time. You don't have to cuss and try to kill people. That'd be great. But anyways, you're on my list. You're in 5th, man, so good job for you. And dark horse, not too much of a dark horse. He's in the playoffs. Hadn't really had a great season, but made the playoffs, and that's Brad Keselowski. We all know what he's done at Richmond. Great race car driver there. And there again, the Watermelon Man and Ross Chastain. Pretty good run there in the spring. I think he's kind of getting the ball rolling, man. This will kind of tell you if he's got the full package going. 1.5 miles at Darlington, a tough racetrack to run. Had a great run. Circuits of the Americas road courses, had great runs. Now we're coming up on the short track. Let's see if we can go get a good run on a short track, man. So that's going to round out the top 5 and the looking forward to Richmond. So now we're getting into the other half of the show. We've talked about the rubbing. Now we're getting ready to talk about the grubbing, man. So got a pretty good little treat for you somewhere around here tonight. I'll tell you what it is. It's the gator bait up here at Coach's. Man, it is absolutely amazing. One of my favorites. One of my wife's favorites. I'm actually bringing one home for her tonight. She asked me to do that. So, man, I tell you what, going to be absolutely amazing. We're still waiting on the grubbing. It's coming up. We got some stuff going down in the kitchen. They're a little busy in here tonight. So we'll come back with that before we get out of here. But a big shout out to Mr. PJ Zuko over there at ESPN 104.3, Green White Checkered. If you haven't heard it yet, tune in every Sunday morning. You can hear PJ Zuko and myself break down everything new in NASCAR that's broke from Wednesday to Sunday. A little bit different show there. A lot of fun, man. We both know a lot about the sport. We both have different outlooks on it. So much fun doing it with PJ, man, over there on 104.3. every Sunday morning, 104.3 ESPN Coastal. You can check it out on their Facebook Live feed as well, man. I tell you what, it is such a great show. Awesome time. Thank you, PJ, and everything you do for me, brother. Greatly appreciated, man. Friend of the show and professional race car driver himself, Mr. Michael Carter, man, going to be racing at the historic Laguna Sega Raceway in California in his MX-5 coming up. Coach's car, hey, man, have all the live auctions action Saturday afternoon starting at 3 p.m. and again on Sunday at 1. Michael is currently the points leader in that IMSA MX-5 Cup. I tell you what, he's been on the show, rubbing and grubbing. I got to get him back up here. This cat has been having a really great season and is a very talented race car driver. So we're going to keep pushing for it and plugging it. Hopefully the man right here gets him a little truck series ride, gets him something, maybe a little test session, gets him something here coming up in the future. I would absolutely love it. Man, I tell you what, that's what it's all about. So definitely if you're a fan of racing, love local drivers, want to support a guy, Michael Carter right here himself. Like I said, racing action starts at 3 on Saturday. Again, Sunday at 1 o'clock, man. Come up here and root this hometown boy on. Go out there and get these wins, man. Got that grubbing coming up right now. This is going to be absolutely amazing. This is probably, like I said, one of my favorite meals here at Coach's. It is definitely one of my wife's favorite things that we get all the time up here, man. All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right. So we got that gator bait. And this is Lindsay style right here. So I do mine a little different. She likes hers. This is going to be that gator bait, man, pressed and rolled in a flour tortilla, man. You got buffalo chicken, Texas Pete and butter in this one, tomatoes, onions, feta cheese. We got ranch on the side. We got tots. Man, they got it all. This is where it goes down. This is one of, like I said, my favorite meals at Coach's Corner, man. Can't go wrong with the gator bait, man. So a big shout out to all the Coach's Corner Sports Network shows, man. You got, you know, the Hot Grits podcast out there. Travis and Spencer do a great job, man. They do so much cool stuff on their show. Absolutely love it. Really want to make a guest appearance on that at some point in time and have them back up here on Rubbin' and Grubbin'. Really cool guys, man, keeping you up to date, talking everything sports, and even talking a little bit of their weekend life, man. So get you caught up on all that. You got the 19th hole with the Erb brothers. I tell you what, there again, I ain't seen Sean. He's MIA. I got something for him up here at Coach's. Anytime you want to come up here and come get it, man, it's here for you. You know where it is. But I tell you what, need to see them. Got to get them on something, man, here coming up next season. Little Sunday recap, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, something. We got to get them recapping some golf, giving some picks. We got to get them doing something, man, liven that up a little bit. But, hey, also big shout out to Coach Carl DeMasi, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Not doing the Wednesday sports report right now just due to the responsibilities he has not only as a coach, a sports coach, but also as an educator. So hopefully as we start slowing down here later on this season, he'll get back up on Wednesday nights. But you can catch Coach Carl DeMasi up here every Saturday morning doing his sports report Saturday morning at Coach's, man. Breakfast with the Coach. Absolutely love it. Great show, great times. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. As I always say, rubbing and grubbing. Rubbing is racing, grubbing is tasting. Make sure you guys tune in next week for another great installment. Hopefully we're going to have a lot more to talk about. A lot more stuff goes down here at Richmond coming up Saturday night. And I tell you what, man, I don't have my bottle in here, but I'm going to do it anyways, man. Stuff's running rampant. Get vaccinated if you haven't. Tell your loved ones you love them. Hug them, kiss them, mask up, and overall, make sure you wash your hands, y'all. Love y'all. See you next week.